Sonia Unplugged is now on the air. Prepare to be unplugged.
Welcome once again to the Sonia Unplugged podcast. I am, of course, Sonia, aka Sonia Barrett. As most of you already know, I am the author of The Holographic Canvas, The Fusing of Mind and Matter, A Journey of Possibilities, Health, An Inside Job, An Outside Business, and now Simple Ways to Step Outside of Your Comfort Zone. This is now a handbook. It's a 7-day program. So it's simple ways to step outside of your comfort zone, letting go of an outdated life. And of course, to connect with me, you can do so on Twitter, and my handle is Sonia Unplugged. And of course, my website, therealsoniabarrett.com. Well, today's guest is going to be, actually, there's two people. They are partners. That would be Stephen Heresy, also known as Dr. Fitness USA, who is an international body designer, owner and founder of the International Institute of Body Design, and his co-founder, Batista Gramad, a #1 best-selling author. And you will find out much more about each of these experts as I go along. But before doing that, before bringing my guest in, I really want to thank those of you who attended the 2 previous workshops. There was a free webinar called Redefining the Idea of Struggle. So those of you who were able to be there to participate, I hope you enjoyed it, and also hopefully receive the link for the replay, which is actually on the website. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it, I suggest you do check it out. It's Redefining the Idea of Struggle. It's very different. That's what I do, different. It's very different in terms of how we can change our perception of struggle, how we can possibly even remove that word and use something else, or see life as something else, in order to not perpetuate more of that same kind of tension or tug of war. And then, of course, the next webinar was Using Your Survival Programs to Hack Your Reality Codes, and that was a 3-hour workshop. And again, thank you to those who were able to attend, and you received a copy of the webinar as well. And if you weren't, this is now available as an instant download on the website, therealsoniabarrett.com. You can go to the website and find out more about that webinar. But this was also incredibly cutting edge, lots of tools and tips in terms of understanding more about core survival program and your own personal survival program, even at times when you don't realize that you're running various levels of the survival program, and how it actually impacts the choices that we make in our lives. So I just want to remind everybody about that. And of course, there is a new and improved website coming, and probably by the time you are listening to this podcast, the website will probably already be live, because it should be live in a couple of days. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be a lot easier to navigate the site, the store, and a great many things that will be added to the website as well. Do subscribe. It's free. And the reason for doing so is I'm going to be doing some more free teleconferences and I think webinars on specific subjects. So if you want to be in the loop on that information, do go ahead and subscribe. Again, it's free. Now, of course, we are dealing with this political madness. And of course, that could take another 20 hours of conversation about that. We all understand that that's what's going on. But I think what is sort of featured for me right now, and possibly because I'm dealing with the film, my documentary, The Business of Disease, is this healthcare madness that we're dealing with. So what I see at this time is I think it's an opportunity for people to begin to establish a new system for themselves. I think this is where we are, and it's a new system on many levels. But because your health is so crucial, if you don't have a body, I always say you don't have to worry about any of the things that happen in this life because you won't be experiencing it because you don't have a body. So this is very important. I mean, whether you're an activist or whatever it is you are, it's so important that we understand more about our body and how to take care of it. And so that's why I've been featuring a lot more information on health, because I really see that that is what is going to be required in this new paradigm, is really understanding spirit, mind, and body, but to really care for this vehicle that we travel around this reality in. And so I'm going to remind you then about my documentary, The Business of Disease, which the trailer can be seen, of course, on the website and YouTube and so on, but it's thebusinessofdisease.com. And of course, the film has been launched. Distribution was launched in February 21st. And so the film is now available on a number of platforms, digital platforms like Amazon and iTunes and Vudu and Vimeo, pay-per-view, and also on the website, thebusinessofdisease.com. You can watch it there. You can stream it there, video on demand, businessofdisease.com. And you can also see it on some of the television channels, network, whatever your provider is, DirecTV, Cox, Verizon, Time Warner. So do go ahead and check thebusinessofdisease.com, as it will list all the various platforms that it can be seen, or you could just watch it on the website. That works quite well. And of course, the book that goes with it, Health and Inside Job and Outside Business, which is a chapter written by all these amazing people in the film. Do check out the book as well. And on the website, there is a package deal to get both the book and the film together. It's very cutting edge. It's very edgy, as I've said so many times. Unless you've seen it, you don't know what I'm talking about. This is not a film that is just based on selling the film based on fear, but it's what are our options? What are our cutting edge options? How do we return to that understanding about how the body is designed, and energy and frequencies and all of that, along with all the other things that we physically have to do to take care of the vessel, as we're going to hear today with my guest speaking about that. So it does require the physical part of it in terms of how we're actually caring for the structure of it, which affects the internal aspect as well. And then the emotional part of it, which is another very key ingredient to the overall system for a holistic approach and to achieve homeostasis. So let's hear a bit about who my guests are. Dr. Fitness USA is the creator of the Body Design Formula Strength Training Protocol, #1 best-selling author, and recognized professional empowerment speaker as a pioneer for this successful work with pain management and postural realignment, which affects mood, behavior, and productivity. Dr. Fitness USA is the leading authority in bringing this revolutionary strength training system to the addiction and recovery community as a new tool for mood behavior stabilization and stress management, and is the first person in the world to provide strength training programs for women suffering from endometriosis. Now, Batista Grimad is an empowerment speaker, entertainer, co-founder of Body Design Formula and International Institute of Body Design. She is a Body Design Formula 7th degree master teacher in the Dr. Fitness USA protocol. certified also in personal training. Batista's expertise in strength training includes structural realignment of the spine, getting rid of back pain without surgery, injury prevention, and post-rehabilitation of injuries. Batista has been teaching the body design formula protocol as an independent trainer at Gold's Gym in Venice, the mecca of bodybuilding, for several years, and is an ambassador of the Olympia Awards of the 7 Arts of the World. Batista was featured as an expert authority speaker on the International Pain Foundation in 2017, the first webinar series. She is the #1 best-selling author of Feminine Body Design, co-creator of the Feminine Body Design online strength training and Lose the Fat and Flab of Menopause system. Their website is drfitnessusa.com. So that's drfitnessusa.com. I am absolutely delighted to have them on the show. We actually met at a screening of my film, The Business of Disease, earlier this year, just actually, I think in February of 2017. So I'm really excited to chat with them and to share this information. And so here we are. Welcome to Sonia Unplugged.
Thank you. Great.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
And you pronounced the name right, Grimo.
Right. I'm also an international body designer, which usually gets people's attention.
Wow, yes.
Yeah, well, how I introduce myself today is I say I'm the owner or the founder of the International Institute of Body Design. I'm an international body designer. And women who would like to be 15 to 20 years younger would usually want to talk to me.
That's pretty much, I'm going to say that's pretty much anybody over, I'm going to have to say maybe 35. Because if you go 20 years younger, you could end up being 5. So
That's true.
That's fantastic. I have had an opportunity to really explore some of the videos and the testimonials, and I'm telling you, what you do is definitely designing, and it is very cutting edge from what I'm looking at, and it does excite one to want to have that kind of body. So let's do this. Let's sort of summarize before we lead into the bigger picture of all of it, just so the audience has some idea coming from you, either one of you, in terms of what exactly are we speaking of when we're speaking of body designing and the International Institute of Body Design. Just a brief summary.
Okay, I can answer that question. You have in the fitness world many modalities. There are people that do not exercise for whatever reason, but the ones that do, some of the familiar names are Pilates, yoga, CrossFit, personal training, things of that nature. So in public, when a person is involved in either one or a multiple of activities, they usually park themselves in that particular parking space, and they don't expand their mind to ask clarifying questions of body design. Is that something new? Is that something that I can incorporate into my life? They don't ask any clarifying questions. So an example would be if you ran into a lawyer, or it could be a chiropractor, you would go, oh, you're a lawyer or you're a chiropractor. Do you specialize in some type of difference that separates you from the rest of the pack? When people show up in life, they always, when it comes to fitness, they don't ask any question farther than their nose. So what happens is they're losing out on the big picture. Because if somebody says they're doing yoga, yoga uses different muscle fibers in the body when exercising as opposed to bodybuilding or weight training or strength training, which if somebody incorporated the strength training would help them to strengthen their nervous system, would help them to work on their posture. It would help them to do a lot more than just incorporating one modality of exercise. So an example like that I can relate to is that before we had a regular phone with a cord, later on it became a cordless phone, later on it became a flip phone, and later on it became actually an Android phone, and then later on it became a smartphone. Now what does a smartphone mean? It's got many different possibilities that you can choose from. So what happens is when we go out in public, the women in their 40s or 50s, even a little bit younger, are so stuck into their intellectual mind, they forgot what it is to be relaxed, calm, cool, collected, or even enjoying being a woman, or setting standards so their relationships rock and roll better. Now, if we go into a place like Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, which I do go into, and we take a camera and we go into the aerobics room where once upon a time there was Zumba classes. Well, I have to say that there's no Zumba classes as a first choice. It's all young women strength training. When you go into the gym, the whole new generation of women are using strength training as if they're using their smartphone. They've evolved in life, whereas the older generation are still stuck in their parking spot. Their bodies are getting older. Their nervous system is breaking down. They're suffering from osteoporosis. Their relationships aren't rock and rolling. So what they do is they go to therapy, they go to chiropractors, they go to acupuncturists. So when they leave either of those offices, they have no set program so that they can have something to work on. It's all hearsay. So women are fed a lot of intellectual information that does them in, because when women stay in their intellectual mind 24 hours a day, they weaken their immune system. Body Design Formula, or Dr. Fitness USA, we have a system that actually gets you out of your intellectual mind and back into your body. It quiets your mind. It's a higher form than yoga. And it also helps to revert your posture back to a healthy stature. So how can you beat that? Now,
no, you
can't. Well, a lot of times people say, oh, you do weight training, you do weight training. Well, you know that people who are in car accidents, people who are very sick, people who are in their 90s are all strength training. They would be dead if they didn't have the facilities to take care of their bodies. So those healthy women, supposedly, who are knocking strength training or bodybuilding, oh, that's not me, showing a complete lack of education.
So can I add something?
Wait, my
Okay. So,
I have to interject and let Batista speak
yes,
a bit because I am authentic, but I have a message that I want women to take better care of themselves, and I'm not going to let them off the hook by trying to take the information that I have to share with them and bring me down to their level so they're unteachable.
okay, so I just wanted to interject here just to address a little more specifically the question that you asked when we talk about the International Institute of Body Design, or what is body design and what is body design formula. So basically it is a system that Dr. Fitness USA created over the last 50 years that is based on strength training and weightlifting, which, you know, back in the days, like he explained about the smartphone and all this, you know, it has evolved. But with this system, it creates a completely different result than what is in the fitness industry right now. And those results have to do with aligning the posture, correcting muscular imbalances, strengthening the nervous system, and all these things that he spoke about. But it is a system that is based on strength training and that is done in a gym environment.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think between the two of you, I think it definitely did give some clarity. So then let's sort of, you know, take it apart now. I think one of the things here, there's so many components here that why I can see that, you know, people are confused or maybe don't understand why this is so essential. One, nobody really thinks about posture, not from the standpoint that you're speaking about posture, as to how crucial that is to the entire what should I say, form of the body, which we'll go into. I'm going to have you talk about that a bit more, holding up, you know, the entire body. And also, I think that most people, because we're not educated in this way in schools, don't realize the different components, different aspects, different angles and areas of the body, as Dr. Fitness was saying earlier, that you maybe in yoga you're using different muscles for this, and in you know, in some of the strength training that's out there and fitness exercises and so on, that there are different parts of the body that are not being worked, which leads us to, you know, obviously depletion in oxygen and obviously blood supply and so on. So can we then talk about, let's talk about, so many things I want to talk about. I want to talk about posture more, but I also want to at some point find out what is it that made you, Dr. Fitness, look at women and really say, you know what, I really want to help women. So which one do you want to tackle first?
Okay, I will answer the question, what made me want to help women? It's a passion. I was just born into it. I was approached by several women almost 50 years ago that had a lot of different problems with their body. One of them that really concerned women was having cellulite. Then there were people that were limited in their range of movement, and made even picking up something from the floor very difficult, or deferred pain. And when I examined what they were doing in the weight training room or strength training room as opposed to other activities, the systems were all male-oriented. So male-oriented, it's simple to visualize this. And men are quite visual, so if they look at their body and they pump up their chest, that might be appeal to them. If they pump up their arms, that might pump up to them too. If they work on their back or they were missing a butt muscle, that might be appealing. So they're looking at their body in a very limited way. They're not looking at their body like a yoga master. They're not looking at the synergistic muscles that are missing. They're not looking at the muscles that are so dormant that there's no brain-muscle connection. So there's a vast difference when we look at solutions so that women could be more evolved. You know that women are actually stronger than men, and they're built to go on. So like the painter said to me, if I knew I was going to live so long, I would have taken better care of their body. So if we go to the second question as posture is kind of like when you go to a chiropractor and he takes an x-ray, he shows you that the vertebrae are not aligned properly. So the bridge to the body is in a weakened position. And if the vertebrae are touching each other, they could cause subluxations. Okay? But body design goes a lot further than that. It looks at, if you notice that women in their late 30s, they're starting to get a rounded posture. Their neck is pushed forward, their shoulders are pushed forward, so their back kind of looks like a mini version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And yet these women could have terrific legs, but they don't know that their upper body can be streamlined into a shape that's more conducive to being a woman. So posture, it's not just lining up the vertebrae, it's lining up the music to your body so that your muscles appear strategically different. Instead of the back being round, it'll be flat. Instead of having a pudgy waistline, they're going to have a slim waistline. It's similar to the analogy is if you went to an acupuncturist, you would hope through the years of study that they would know how to put the needle in the right meridian to treat whatever cause that they are looking at. When people enter the strength training world, they're basically hitting points everywhere, okay? And sometimes they can strengthen muscles in the wrong place and cause more problems than what they're trying to solve. So the answer to all those questions, it's been 50 years of research, or actually on-hands training, that I documented from day one. And doctors today and the world of science puts strength training in the number one category for anti-aging, but they don't have the protocols yet, whereas Stephen Hersley or Dr. Fitness USA, I have the protocols. The protocols would look like this. When we ask a woman, oh, I do strength training. Oh, you do? I'm lifting 10 pounds at home. So there's the misconception. 10 pounds isn't strength training. That's occupational therapy of doing nothing. So they're not asking any questions to the expert. You see, when I show up, I'm supposedly supposed to be the expert. They're supposed to be asking some questions, but they're not. They lead, but then they become the experts. They start to tell me, or it could be another professional, how they should conduct the answer. That means that you go to a lawyer and you ask them an advice, and you're telling them how to solve the case. Now, you know when they go to court, the terminology has to be done in a lawyer's terms or what the judge might accept, not in a layman's terms. So strength training and all this bodybuilding and things like that has to be in a certain format to be successful.
Yeah, so I think that's the confusion. Yeah, I think that's the confusion now, because just like we have an assortment of foods, a lot of processed foods, we have a variety of fitness options now, and I think a lot of it becomes very trendy. So I think that, a lot of times, yes, people aren't necessarily asking the right questions. They just want to be part of that trend. And of course, you see an image that looks great. Well, people want that, so they go running after it. Or you see people see an equipment advertised on television, and then they go for it. But and then sometimes it's short-lived, because then they can't do it for very long. One of the things you talk about is being comfortable. And I'm just going to read a quick quote here. It is everything that you've said, but I did like this quote from your side. And it says that it involves activating synergistic muscles that an individual may not be aware of, sending blood flow and oxygen to parts of the brain that were dormant. It rewires the brain and reconnects the dots from the inside out, while opening up new creative channels which allow for maximum strength increase safely and comfortably. And that was one of the things that I wanted to also look at, because we have this no pain, no gain understanding, this concept. So if you could also incorporate that into, what you're speaking about. Is it necessary? Is it more damaging? This pain that we are supposed to be experiencing, yet you're saying you should also be comfortable. It is more sort of a meditative process in a way. Do you want to explain that?
Sure, we'll go a little backwards, but okay, so you go into a shoe store. Some people can go into any shoe store and they can take any shoe and it's fine, but most people have a preference to going into the shoe store, buying the right color, but beyond the right color, they're looking for comfort. If they find that shoe that's comfortable to their body, that supports their arch in their foot, they will have no problem wanting to go for a walk. The other person buys a shoe. He's in pain all the time because his foot is not supported. So comfort, when you go into a gym, most people don't know that every gym has a different environment. So in an environment like a gym, it might not have the right pair of shoes for the woman or even for a man, but it's fully equipped. So they go in there and they have no knowledge of the jungle, so to speak, and they're doing frivolous exercise that's very painful to their body because it's the wrong shoe. But their objective is to sell you a membership, not to make you comfortable. The trainer also is built on that premise. His or her regime is to make it so confusing that you actually have to come back and pay them for more. In the body design system, we set it up so it's sustainable. You can take out the car for a ride anytime you want. It's always working. So comfort, so when we're talking about pain, if you're having pain, it's not going to get any better. So you're wasting your time. You're not supposed to be in pain. So we teach people, what we're doing is we show them how an exercise would be done in a regular fashion. Then we show them a modified version of the exercise, and they all go, "Oh, that is so much better." Then the secret sauce is, then I show them an ergonomic setup of how the exercise can be done even more efficiently and more comfort. And then they go, and then I ask them, "Well, which one would you like to have?" And they go, "Oh my God, the last one, of course." Okay, so now we've got only one exercise, but if we created 32 exercises and put them in a logical sequence that makes sense, they would have no problem enjoying their program. So an example would be, I can say her name is Norma. She comes to see me. She's referred by a dentist who actually goes on camera and says, "My program is stronger than medicine." So she's sitting in front of me. She's 74 years old, and she's very surprised that the dentist has held this secret information from her. What's the secret information? She wants to have more balance and more enthusiasm or more energy. So I interviewed. Ordinarily, I wouldn't take on a person at 74 years old because their body's already built. The thing is, inherently, I knew I could get her successful. So she's been a cancer survivor. She's had open heart surgery 2015. She's had physical therapy. She's under the care of doctors. She's also had personal trainers. But she's sitting in front of me, and she says, "My body wants more. I want more of a challenge of who I am." So we fast forward. I created a program that's professional. That means I didn't show any limitations in when I developed the program. I created the answer to get her to where she needs to go. There are precautions like being careful not to put her head down so the blood is flowing downwards. That could be dangerous into the heart. And I also made sure that if she was doing a leg machine, leg press, something that she could use on her legs, that if something happened, heart attack or something, if she dropped the weight, there would be a safety stopper and she would be safe. She's had no experience at all what it's like to be comfortable. So anyways, after 3 months, in in 3 weeks' time, we raised her strength level 760%. This woman goes to the gym 13 times we have records. The woman goes to the gym 13 times a month, and she loves training. She's sleeping better. Her blood pressure is down. The doctors are shocked at the miracle transformation. She loves training. So what does that look like? So I put, your legs generate energy to your upper body. If you don't send energy to your upper body, you will not have enough strength to lift sufficient exercise to change certain muscles or even develop it. So what we used was a selectorized leg press. That's where you put a pin in and you can sit comfortably. And I have a special ergonomic support that makes her back feel very safe and comfortable. So a trainer might give her like 50 pounds, 40, 50. We start off at 70. Pretty soon it's 90. Every time she comes back. Pretty soon it's 130. Pretty soon it's 160. The third month, now she's been warmed up. She's well trained. I have records on her. But when I look at the machine, because I have a way of calculating, she's burnt out. Those selectorized machines at a certain point become inefficient. So now I'm going to switch her to a plate-load 45-degree leg press. Okay, where you put these plates on. Okay, so it's her first time doing this leg press. So in the leg press, that's where you put those plate loads. They got a big circle in the middle. It's got a big diameter plate. So now I put her into this machine. In about 15 minutes, this woman is now leg pressing 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Well, wait a second, it gets better. But this woman is smart. She's trying to say, I can't lift a heavier weight. Oh, you can't lift a heavier weight. The reason you can't lift a heavier weight is the safety pins are on the wrong part of the machine. The way the machine was built, it's like reaching for a can that's too high on the shelf. So what I had to do was I had to build a pad behind her. It was a pad plus a steel plate, etc. Okay? So we reached about 220. But the pad and the plate is too hard. So where I'm going with this is I went out on my own accord and I created and made her a specialized pad that when she put it in the back of her, she could be closer to the machine and be able to lift the weight she wanted to and feel safe. So I did that. At first she said, I was very sore. Oh, I have to go get x-rays. I have to do all these things. I'm okay now today, but you really want me to do this leg press? Yes, I want you to read. Here's the pad. I give her the pad. She lights up like a candle. I have her on camera. She left the machine happy, and she did 335. So you see with the pad, I made her comfortable.
Right.
Without the pad and the markup thing, she was uncomfortable. And without anything, she couldn't do the weight she was supposed to. And when they do that, without knowing it, they feel defeated. It's not because they're weak or defeated. They don't know how to be comfortable or how much weight they really need to lift to move forward. Now, there's another place, and people might not know this, but there's a horse. You sit on it and you pull a lever. Most women use 25 pounds. This woman is using 90 pounds each side. She does it perfectly. I have her on camera.
So can I say something? Because sometimes when we talk about heavy weight, women get worried because, they think that they're going to get bulky and why should I lift heavy weight? And what I want to add to the conversation is that it's not about doing more weight and, how much more weight can I lift. It's just that there is a weight ratio that has to happen between certain exercises. And in certain cases, like, for example, the leg press, like Stephen explained earlier, if you can reach a certain level, a certain weight on the leg press, then it sends energy to the upper body, and then you're going to have, you're just going to get stronger. So it's about lifting the appropriate amount of weight in certain strategic exercises in order to achieve specific results. that have to do with all that we've talked about before. And in certain cases, certain exercises, it's much lighter weight. So it's not about more weight, more weight. It's about the right amount of weight in the right place so that everything is in balance, okay? So, for example, there is a weight ratio that happens between exercises. If you do so much weight in this exercise, then the next exercise, you should be able to reach so much weight. You see what I mean? So it's very...
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Let me add. So here's something that women could really relate to is a lot of times they get flappy arms in the back. You know, they call that the bat wings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for the woman that's 74, Norma, obviously she has some bat wings, so she's very concerned about that. So we create what they call a tricep exercise. What's happening is that the muscle has gone down from lack of use. So when I develop a prescription, she's going to come in and learn the exercise and only be at 20 pounds, okay? And when we went in last week, she was now at 80 pounds. At 80 pounds, the muscles start to fill up like air in a balloon. So the program has to be sustainable, it has to be balanced, and it has to be progressive. And the person has to be comfortable. So when I talk to women sometimes, it's kind of strange to me because they're trying to lose the weight. What they really would like to say is, because they gauge themselves by how much they weigh on a scale or how they fit into a dress. But I'm saying to them, the thing to look at is changing a fat cell for a muscular cell, working on posture, working on other elements. And in order to do that, you need a business plan or a mentor that's willing to take 26 hours, put the system together, have it taught to you, and follow up on it. It's not a quick fix where you do something for 30 days and then you get on the scale and you lost 20 pounds. This is a system that helps to deal with stress and nourishes your body as your hormones change as age sets in.
And from what I've seen on the website, all the men and women that I've seen, but since we're talking about women, no, nobody looks overtoned. Everybody looks great. I mean, like nicely toned, with definition, but nobody looks overdone. That was what I noticed. Nobody looked overdone. Everybody looked great. They looked defined. That's how I would describe that.
You're very cool because that's what design does. So what I can put that in layman's terms again. If you look at two professional dancers and you meet them, one will say, "Oh, you must be a ballet dancer." The way they've been trained is more elegant, more presentable in the eyes of society. So body design presents a body that you can show up in your jeans, you can show up in your dress, and instead of saying you're a bodybuilder, they're going to say, "Wow, you look fabulous. How do you do that?" So why would somebody listen to me? Because when I show up, I'm going to be 70 years old. And when people look at me, they just like almost fall on the floor. They say, "You don't even look a day over 40, maybe 45, 46. I take no steroids. I take no hormones. I take good vitamin supplementation, things of that nature." And when you work out on a body design program, it gives you more time, money, and energy to do the things that really are important to you. Because
and also,
if you
go ahead.
Well, if you're a woman, men don't know this, but once a woman is pregnant, she's going to be, or she's in her feminine, but once she has a child, she's going to be in her what we call male. She's going to need to protect the child, to look after the child, and that could go on for a lot of years. If she doesn't take care of her body in an appropriate way, 15 years down the line, now she's left with a body that's very unappealing to a male's eyes. And there's a dramatic difference in the relationships. They become friends, they live together, they could stay together. But remember, men are visuals. I know that for a fact. When they go to the gym and they see healthy skin and healthy bodies, that's okay. When they go home and they are trying to mate up, whether it's a male or female, it's a soggy mattress, that's not going to fly with them. But men get very weak when they get older if they don't do strength training, and they're really not helping women as giving them the gift of time to go take care of themselves.
Right, because they can appear unattractive to us as well.
Yeah.
Well,
we like something to look at as well. So
okay, so there's a healthy thing. You know, when I go out, I'm not perfect, but I like to look at a healthy male. But when I go out, most of the men in their late 40s, 50s are like girls. They stop communicating with each other. We men are supposed to offer each other gifts or communication of conversation, and they don't. The men are actually, when you approach them, they're what they call in the phenomenon, I used to be. Yeah, but guy, used to be was 30 years ago. Did you see yourself today? You look terrible. You know, I have a lot of men that don't talk to me again because I say, listen, you look terrible. How can you go around life like that? You're successful, you say you're successful, and you look terrible. Okay?
yeah.
You say if you have a friend, if you really love your friend, you ought to introduce him to the body design program. It might save his life because we have a lot of people, not a lot, there's several cases, male and female, that we try to communicate with them about the body design formula. They wouldn't listen, and they're all dead.
Yeah.
In fact, that person's best friend is dead too because they don't listen. When you do too much and you burn yourself out, it's very hard to recuperate or recover.
I think part of what has happened here, though, I think it's social programming. I think that people are also conditioned to believe that at a certain age that it is natural for you to start falling apart. So I think there is that program as well, and sometimes people fall into it. I mean, we see it all the time. My husband and I see it all the time. But yeah, so they fall into that, and it almost to some degree, I've seen it where it looks almost like a badge of honor that somebody says, "Oh, my knee, oh, my back," and then they'll go, "When you get to be my age." So I think there is also that kind of conditioning as well, and then people also get lazy. They don't want to to do too much work. But that's obviously not everybody, because then I know a lot of people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s that really do take care of themselves, and they do look great. So I just wanted to say that about the programming.
Okay, here's something that I could add, because people always want to know, well, what can you tell me I don't already know? I want to clarify something. The person says, I'm not motivated, or I'm lazy. Motivation and laziness has nothing to do with it. In a female brain, first of all, women are estrogen-based. They transmit thoughts and feelings simultaneously between left and right side of the brain. When their strength goes too low, they lose 70% of their physical strength, they can't control their emotions. That's one type. The other type go up inside their head, their intellectual head, and park themselves. It has nothing to do with being motivated. The way you correct that is by increasing their strength, like in the body design formula system, 20 to 50% in 20 minutes. As soon as they raise that's why heavy weights are important in certain respects. Once you raise their strength level, they become very quiet and centered, and they actually wake up. It's a natural phenomenon. They just wake up.
So you're saying hormonally though. Okay, so just so we explain that, so hormonally, what happens then? Is there a particular hormone, a neurotransmitter? What is it that shifts?
what's happening is the body is continuously getting weaker, but they're translating that I'm a strong woman. Yes, you're strong intellectually, but your body cannot keep up with the strength of your intellectual mind. It's a weakened body. Your bones are weaker. You're overloading your nervous system with too many problems or thinking too much. Your body is basically weak.
Yes. But it also, to address what you're saying, it also has to do with neurotransmitters and shooting endorphins to the brain and creating new neurons in the brain. It also has to do with that phenomenon. When you can increase that much strength that fast, it does have physical hormonal reactions, like it does help to regulate hormonal imbalances. So that's one of the reasons why, especially for women over 40 and up, when the hormones really start changing, it's so important to incorporate this type of activity because of that reason. So on top of what Stephen is saying about quieting the mind and the phenomenon of the strength increase, it actually physically, scientifically proven does, have those benefits.
Right, which makes sense. Which is why I was asking that, because I thought it really important to add that so that people have even more of a connecting point as to what happens hormonally. Because obviously everything we do, it's all hormone based at some given point, because the body is a chemical factory. So so that's why I wanted to also clarify as to what's happening in the body. And then go ahead.
And if I can add something, when you add the component of realigning the posture to what we're talking about, now you have the proper flow of energy, blood, neurotransmitters going to the brain too. So you release the blockages in the body. So you see what I'm saying? We're compiling things that are increasing the benefits.
Right. No, you can. I think that's very clear. I think that makes sense, because what you want is clear pathways
Exactly.
for blood flow, for for all that is necessary in the communication process of the body. And when we are out of alignment, or when the posture, when we're crooked, or whether it be the spine or the body, I think that just makes sense that you can't have clear pathways. So yeah, just so the audience understands that makes sense as well. And then let's talk just real briefly again, just stress, because we talk about the impact of being able to do this kind of strength training and stress and the calming the mind. Now, what do you see as the impact of stress on a lot of these bodies that you've seen when people first come in? And then the difference, we touched on it a little bit, but just to be a little bit more specific, because there's a lot of people out there, everybody is basically in fight or flight mode, pretty much all the time. So yeah, so what can you say about that in terms of what you've seen stress do for people?
Well, stress is destructive, just plain and simple. The body design formula system puts them in an empowerment position where it's like going on vacation, where they can leave whatever they're doing for an hour and go take care of themselves, and they'll come back as if they've been on a vacation for 2 or 3 weeks. You see, if you want to chill out, people think, well, I need to go on vacation. No, you just need to go to the gym on my formula, and you'll come back feeling like 15 years younger. And then you'll be able to appropriate, direction to different people to handle the problems that you don't have to deal with. See, women, when there's too much on the plate, think they have to do anything, or they don't have enough time. There's a time factor ticking. I don't have enough time. I have to do this. I have to do that. They don't, even men, they don't see, they still, in the old world, they're just seeing strength training as an activity. whereas we're promoting strength training done specifically as a health component to prolonging your life.
And improving the quality of your life also. It's about quality, you know. And the truth of the matter is when you're stronger, you know, the physical, the emotional, the mental, it's all related, you know. And when you are better and stronger in your body, you make better decisions. Everything becomes easier.
Well, you're clearer.
Yeah, you're clearer.
Yeah, you're clearer.
Yeah,
right.
And then, you know, stress goes down and life is just easier.
Right. You can see so much clearer. I totally get that one. Also, okay, so for the people who, you're in LA, so the people who are not in Los Angeles and can't, you know, physically come there, what do you have in place if somebody wants to experience these protocols, wants to experience this? What do you have in place that would allow them to do this from where they are?
We have a $15,000 educational system for very low money that they can go to our website and purchase a program that they can, as soon as they open it up, they can actually know what gym they want to join, what to do in the gym. It's a whole education in a box, so to speak. It's taken 8 years to put it together, and it's done in very simple terms, not like PDX or something weird or anything like that. They actually, if they bought the program, just by studying it or following the steps, which are both written and verbal and also narrated and also in video format and huge HD cinema, they'll be very successful in what they're doing. It's as simple as that.
So let me ask about consultation. Now, you do consultation. Can someone do consultation via Skype if they want to do that?
They can. Yes, there is an opportunity to do a consultation. It doesn't matter where they live. It's you know, I work with people different parts of the world. A consultation consists of having a conversation, finding out a little bit more about the person, where they live, because gym location is really important. Photos of the body. There's a lot of things that happen in a conversation, a consultation. Yeah, maybe you know, I've been doing this for a long time, so when somebody's talking to me, I can paraphrase what they're really trying to say. I'm intuitive. I'm just intuitive of how I read the music to the body, where you're at, and I can come up with a possibility how you can see it different. Like we work with somebody that doesn't live here, that's only 29 years old, at school, and we have a video on her. She's homeschools 3 children. She's successful, a lot of things happening. But by chance, when she was walking in the hall, I looked at her and I said, "What's really going on in your life that's causing you so much stress?" She was shocked by that. And then what ensued was she sat down and had a quiet conversation. And this person had so many illnesses going on in their body. It was shocking for somebody 29 years old. They were involved in a fitness program that their husband was involved in, all that stuff. Anyways, it took a lot of heart from my end to be persevering because I had a vision for her, how she could be more out of pain and successful. The day I called her after 3 months, continuously, she said, "Oh, my therapist left, I'm in bed, you know, I can't move." When I got through talking to her, she got out of bed, went to Gold's Gym, joined in, and her life's turned around, and it's on video ever since. How do you explain that phenomenon? I have lots of videos. I have somebody in Beverly Hills that the doctor told her that she needed to get an operation because she had a lump on her wrist or her arm, and she couldn't carry her purse, and it's getting worse, and she's in pain. She did my program, and she shows she has no lump on her wrist or anything. She's not in pain. She feels perfect. I have a lot of testimonials, but they're real. They're authentic. The dentist was required by 3 orthopedic surgeons to have surgery on her shoulder because of a torn muscle. She nixed it to do my program, and she shows she's in her office and she functions perfectly. Because every time you have an operation, there's consequences. It's not something, I mean, the doctors tell you that. Or sometimes I get a call for somebody and they say, well, you know, I heard about you. I really want to do something. Can you help me? Because I'm going in for surgery for lower back pain. So I look at her picture. The woman hasn't done a stick of work in her life. Why is she going to have an operation? So I have that. Or sometimes I interview somebody, they've been with a trainer for 11 years and they don't have a stick of muscle, but they're in shock. They say, oh, how can that be possible? So, you know, it's a question of doing some research, listening to our presentation today, and know that there's a better opportunity. And I come from a loving place. There's videos that talk about me too, coming from a loving place. But I won't let you be less than you can be to move forward in life to be a better you. And Batista, who came in as a student, who walked the talk, we are now married, she's the highest level teacher in the world for anti-aging. We have 5 books out on Amazon. There's nobody that walks the talk better than Batista. That's the only time we've never had an argument, you know, in relationships. You know?
I guess we all need to do to come to you for strength training.
And what women don't know is when they tie up with men, when men find out that you're smart, they're going to use you till you drop. They love smart women, okay? And I taught her a relationship self-defense, and she can stop me in a dime. She knows how to say no. And I know how to say, you know, you've been on the computer for 3 or 4 days, and I see the stress level happening. You need to go to the gym because you're a better person when you go to the gym. Now she goes to the gym and she comes back. She's 15 years younger. What man wouldn't want that? Now she's happy.
Yeah. But it's true, though. I mean, it sounds very similar to me. My husband will call and go, "Have you gotten off the computer?" Because everything we do, it seems to be centered around the computer. But I end up going, as we discussed. Yes, I do hike. I hike a lot. But for me, nature has been the balancer for me. It's if I didn't have that, yes, I probably would not be in the shape I'm in today. And some people don't do that at all. They're just in front of the computer all the time, which is really wreaking a stress havoc on all their cells. So anyway, yeah, I hear you. Now, I wanted to say, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you want to say? But Batista, is there anything that you want to add that you don't think that we've touched on and that we should?
No, I think that we covered a lot of things. I can just add that, you know, when I met Stephen almost 10 years ago, I was that woman, that description of the woman that's totally stressed out and working around the clock, no time, and, you know, with those hormonal changes happening with injuries. And I have to say that personally, from my experience, when I heard the conversation, it seemed a little strange because I was a professional dancer, so I had done a lot of exercise modalities. I was healthy. I was eating healthy. And, you know, I thought I knew just about everything, right?
Yeah,
and, you know, and so it's not like I was that open-minded either. I was a ballet dancer, flamenco dancer. I had the preconception about being bulky. I had a lot of, you know, if I was going to do strength training, I would bulk up, and I had injuries, so lifting weight was just not in my book. I never thought about it. So I was that woman, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I was against the wall because my body was falling apart, and his conversation, even though it seemed strange and I didn't maybe understand it all, it was different. And
right.
So I gave it a shot, you know, and it worked magic for me, and that's how I stayed and started researching and everything. So I just want to put that out there because I know that some women may receive that information the way I did originally, because it's different maybe a little bit, but that it is everything Dr. Fitness USA says just turned out to be really true from my perspective, from my experience. I've taught the program now because now we're the family business, right? So now I learned to teach the program. I've done the research, and I've worked with people personally, and I see the miracle with my very own eyes when I work with the people. So just to keep an open mind that there is, that this really does what it does, and be open and have faith and stay open-minded that, like I thought I knew everything and I didn't. So, when you stop learning, you stop growing, right? So it's a matter of keeping in mind.
Right. Yeah. Now, how about you, Dr. Fitness USA?
I would say to women to arm themselves and take action and start dialing the number and taking care of themselves.
Let's give out that number.
Yeah, they can
let's
reach
give out
us
that information, the website and the phone number.
Yeah, the website is drfitnessusa.com, and the phone number is 424-245-6560. So we get busy, and we get a lot of calls from all over the world because I'm the first person in the world to create strength training programs for women who suffer from endometriosis and autoimmune disease. I'm the first person in the world to create programs for stress and addiction as revolutionary. But I take calls personally, and I will call back. So to put away at least 10 or 15 minutes so that we get to know each other, so that we can move forward and walk hand in hand in life to make things better for you, your friend, or your family.
All right, fantastic. Well, what I say to anybody, my audience listening to this, do go to the website. And what's the website again? What is it?
It's Dr. Fitness USA. It's DRFITNESS. You have to put USA. That's drfitnessusa.com.
Okay, great. All right, so go to the website. Go ahead.
Okay. You can say go to the website after. I just want to add something here. It's important to take action now. There's a misconception that if they decide to weight train or whatever it is, that they're going to be in shape in a week or two, is extremely. When women come to see me and they're talking about their body and they want to change it to the degree that I'm talking about, they're asking for a miracle. Part of the miracle or the solution is to start on that online program or to contact me directly, and we can see how we can go from there. I don't think that they should be focusing on money. That's a male-oriented way of dealing with health for themselves on a personal level. It's better to ask clarifying questions, negotiate, and work around what it is that they want to do and to get going. Because the longer they take, the harder the climb or the more the conditions become irreversible.
Okay. Were you finished or?
Yeah, it's finished.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure. You're the expert, so I want to make sure you say everything that you wanted to say.
And another thing is, let's not forget about the men in the women's lives. When you send a man to do the program on my program, he'll come back a better person, and you'll get more gifts. Don't let him be a used to be. Don't let him be a used to be.
We can always use the more gifts in whatever form that may be. But I'm just encouraging people to.
I want to add one thing. I know I'm fast here before I forget. If you're a man listening to this, or you're a woman, in either direction, if you're a man, do not go up to your woman and tell her how much it costs. Because when women do, they're already in their male and they're already stressed out and they don't know if they're going to follow through. So they feel guilty before they even start, okay? You have to offer it as a gift. If you're a woman and you like what you're hearing and you want to be involved in the program, you say to the man, I have an intuition or an idea that this would make me feel happy. He'll say, how much? Don't tell him how much. You tell him, if I wasn't supported on this, my feelings would be hurt. You can't negotiate feelings. If you phrase it that way, he'll say, please tell me. Okay, that means I'm going to be supported. If he says yes, you've just created a gift for yourself. Don't talk to men about money. That's a thought process that they'll outthink you anytime because we have testosterone. So don't be a woman trying to be a guy and thinking you can pull the wool over us. And don't ask us guys to be in our feelings when that's what therapy teaches us. When men are in their feelings, we don't take care of women. We're naturally in our feelings. You don't want a man in his feelings. If women could understand that. Batista does not ask me how I feel. I ask her how she feels. It's a little bit different. I do like when she asks me what I think because then I feel loved. But ask me how I feel. In a man's world, we can't even answer that. A feeling is, you can't negotiate feelings. We can't even talk about our feelings. It's a nonverbal communication. Ask us what we think, how we feel about you. We can answer you immediately. So offer yourself a gift of love. Don't talk about money.
That could be a whole other radio interview.
It is.
Oh my goodness.
Teach women relationship self-defense, and that's not physical. It's verbal communication, how you can deflect the nonsense that men pull on women. So the women could get a better deal. Like if I had an argument with women, with Batista, right, where I was very mean because we guys are like that sometimes, we're like jocks, I'll go in my room and I'll think about, if I keep hurting her feelings, I'm going to pay heavily for it. So I'll come in the room and I'll say, I know how I can make it up to you. I know how I can make it up to you, even though I'm not guilty. She's already thinking of a gift, see?
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Okay. I'm writing down all these tips. But no, I just want to tell everybody that if you go to the website, there is so much content that I've seen that everything that we're saying, it pulls it all together because you have video testimonials from clients, and you're seeing the way they look as well. So it's not just Batista and Dr. Fitness USA talking, but you're actually seeing this. And also the information that is written that really describes the process, describes the system. It's there. So if you listen to this and you want to find out more and you really want to absorb this, go on the website and really go through it. And it'll make you want to go and be part of this system. It really will. So I just wanted to say that because I'm not easily I'm not easily influenced or taken in. But if I see something that really looks like it's going to expand or evolve, my health, my mind, or whatever, then that's kind of my response to that. So I think that's what we've done today. I think that's it. I think we've covered everything. And is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else.
No, it was so our system is about empowering other women, so share it. And
all right.
Also that you were, it was excellent speaking with you, the way that you asked the questions and the way that you rock and roll with the show is wonderful. We get along perfect.
Oh, thank you. It is about, it is about life, and everybody wants to live. Let's face it, everybody wants to live. We just want to feel good while we're doing that, and that's what you're presenting, that opportunity. So thank you for that, both of you, for all your years of research and presenting that to the world. All right. Well, I thank my audience for tuning in, for listening in, and you know the usual: live life to its fullest and question everything. Until next time, see you then.